Hey everybody, Jeff Coffin from my studio here in Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome. We're going to be talking today about my new app, Connecting the Dots. And today we're going to get into working on some vocabulary, some call and response. This is the one chord section. Okay, there's only one chord we're going to be working with today. As we talked about in the last video about the arpeggiation of the chord, where that comes from, the arpeggio is the skeletal system of the chord. And so we're going to be kind of dealing with that today. And we're going to use the C7 chord. Okay, so this first exercise, arpeggios and voice leading exercises, A1, A2, B, C, D, and E, gives you some more information to work with. I give you the Mixolydian scale, which is, again, a major scale with a flat 7th degree, and it kind of outlines that for you. And then A2 gives you the arpeggiations in root position, first inversion, second inversion, and third inversion, meaning that we start on the root, and then we start the second inversion on the second note of the arpeggio, which is going to be the E of the C chord. Then we start on the 5th of the chord, which is the G. Then we start on the flat 7th of the chord, which is B flat. So we're going C, E, G, B flat, E, G, B flat, C, G, B flat, C, E, and then B flat, C, E, and G. So we're just starting on different notes, like different steps of the chord, and continuing up and up. So that's what that shows you. Letter B shows you a little bit of voice leading, meaning how we're moving up or down into the next note, like we did on our voice leading grids. And it allows you to kind of play through it. At the bottom here, you can see that there's a key center, a play button, and also a tempo marking. Before we get into playing, I want to mention also, if you go back to the home screen here, this little wheel at the top left-hand corner where it says Connecting the Dots, if you tap that, the second thing down will say Your Instrument. And you can choose your instrument there, and it transposes everything automatically for you. It's range specific for 11 different instruments. And so I'm going to go back into one chord, exercise B. So you can play this through. This is starting on the root, going all the way through. There's 12 bars. And then letter C is the same idea starting on the E, the 3rd of the chord. Letter D is the same idea starting on the G, the 5th of the chord. And it gives you numbers underneath also to help you correspond those notes to the chord and what that sound is. Harmony is the relationship between sounds. So I want you to start to understand, how does the 5th sound over a chord? How does the 3rd sound over a chord? How does the flat 7th sound over a chord? And so exercise E of the arpeggios and voice leading exercises starts on the flat 7 and goes all the way through. So you play whole notes all the way through, just listening to how those notes sound over that chord. Then we get into the meat and potatoes of this. This is the vocabulary exercises. Vocabulary exercise A outlines that dominant 7th chord again. And remember, in this upper right-hand corner, you can make it larger or you can make it smaller by hitting the magnifying glass. So there's 4 bars of exercises before it changes rhythms. And it's a call and response. I'm playing the 1st and 3rd bars of each of these sections, and you'll play the 2nd and 4th bars of each of these sections. All right? So this is just going on, and I'll play this for you. A couple of bars to count off. 2, 3, 4. Then you. Then me. Then you. Different rhythm here. You. Ba-ba-dee-da. And you want to imitate me. Ba 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 ba. Right? You want to imitate the articulation, the tone, the phrasing, the feel of it also. Letter B, we get into just one note per bar. And this is the simplification of it. Rather than just giving you a bunch of notes to play, we're simplifying it so that you really hear how the root works over the chord. And again, it's a call and response. I'm playing the 1st and 3rd bars. You play the 2nd and 4th of each 4-bar phrase. Bop, bop, me, and you. Bop, bop. So you're recognizing the rhythmic patterns. Ba-da-da. Notice that little crescendo. Ba-da-da. You can also sing along if you want. Right? So on and so forth. So the cool thing about this is that exercise C now is exactly the same rhythms starting on the third. Exercise D is exactly the same rhythms starting on the fifth. And you guessed it, exercise E, exactly the same rhythm starting on the flat seventh, right? So this is how the flat seven sounds. Let's play a couple of bars of this. Right, you hear the difference? Then you, then me. Now you. And so that, again, allows you to hear the relationship of that note to the chord that you're playing. Letter F, we're going root to the third. It's the same idea all the way through. And so you get to hear that relationship. Letter G, we're going third to the fifth. Letter H, we're going fifth to the seventh. Letter I, we're going 7 down to 5. So that's 2 notes per bar. Here, I'll let you hear this one. Again, 2 bars count off. I'm playing the first and the third bars. And then you, ba, be, da. This is great for pattern recognition also, which will really help your sight reading. Ba, ba. Right? And so then we want to add the third note. And so this is the same concept starting on the root, the third, the fifth, and the seventh. Okay, so now we have 3 notes per bar. So we're starting to phrase a little bit. I'll let you hear a little bit of this one. Again, we'll start this one on the seventh also. 2 bars of count off. And then you. Ba-dee-da. You. Ba-dee-da. Bop, bop, bop. Right? So now we've done 3 notes. You guessed it, we're going to do 4. Right? So now we're using all 4 notes of the arpeggio, starting on the root. And of course, the next exercise, letter O, will be starting on the third. Letter P will be starting on the fifth. Letter Q will be starting on the seventh. So let's listen to letter N, which starts us on the root. Again, 2 bars of count off. Here we go. Now you. Now me. Now you. Second exercise. Now you. Ba-bo-dee-da. Remember to imitate. Listen and imitate. Now you also have the option if you want to shut me off. Just below that play bar it says no melody. So you wouldn't hear me at all. So this takes you all the way through. These are great exercises all the way through. And then at the end of that exercise, we have these vocabulary tunes, which are built off of the exercises that we've just played. We have A, B, C, and D. And there are combinations of these different exercises that we've just played, starting on the root, third, fifth, and seventh. So I play it through the first time, and then you play it through the second time, right? And then you would play it here. So you can play it along with me the first time, or you can just listen, sing it, get to recognize the pattern. And then the last part of the one chord section is me soloing. You get to hear me take 2 solos here. I'm using only the notes of the arpeggio. Different articulations, different range of the instrument. So it just kind of shows you what you can do with the arpeggiations only, the notes of the arpeggio. So here on the second one, you can hear I'm taking a little bit of a different solo on it. Again, 2 bars of count off. So that's the 1 chord section. The next video will be our 2 chord section, talking about voice leading from the last note of the first bar into the first note of the second bar. And this is a really important part of understanding harmony and how things lead into one another. So tune in for the next video. Thanks for checking out Connecting the Dots, available at the Apple iStore. Check it out. Thanks. Peace. See you on the next one.